Hello everybody, welcome back to Box Check. Today we have the LRT23 Chinese mini skid steer in the garage and we need to do some maintenance. And this is a little bit unexpected, but I'm glad I found it. And in my hand here I've got a little knockoff GoPro. This is an action camera that I normally use whenever I'm working on a car or something. But whenever I'm running the mini skid, occasionally I will put it on a little mount on this hydraulic fitting right here. And that allows me to get a shot of what the bucket's doing. But while editing a video, I noticed that there's a tremendous amount of play up here in this plate and where this hydraulic actuator mounts to the plate. I want to show you just a little 5-second clip of it so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm glad I was editing that video, right? So I don't have any hydraulic pressure on any of the lines, and I just want to show you, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but this is moving left and right. This one down here moves. And this plate where these joints actually, the plate mounts in right there, actually a lot of play on that one. Okay, so, but we're gonna solve that today. That's our goal. And what we're gonna be using is these machinery bushings. These are 1 1/4 machinery bushings. And this is what the package looks like. I picked these up at Tractor Supply. It wasn't that expensive. I think they're $4 per pack. There's 4 bushings or shims per pack, but I believe this is what's going to fit right here. So how we're going to approach this is I'm first going to go over here and make sure that I don't have any hydraulic pressure in the lines. I've already done that, but I'm just going to do it so you can see. I've got the bucket off because I don't need any extra weight. And then the next thing we're going to do before I actually disconnect any of these is we're just going to do a little measurement test, and I'll bring the camera closer, but we are going to see how many bushings we need per joint before we remove those. So let's do that now. All right, so this is the uppermost joint of concern, and I'll show you the play that we have. All right, so now what we're going to do before we disconnect anything here is we're going to see how many shims that we need. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of jamming it in there. I shouldn't say jamming, I'm not jamming, but how many can we get in there? So, all right, so it's not going to accept 3, but it will accept 2. 3 would just make it too tight and we would start having metal getting crammed in there. So what we're gonna do on this one, even though there's still just a little bit of play, we're gonna do 2 on the top. All right, so now we're down here. This is the mounting plate, and let's test this actuator right here where it's mounted in there. All right, we know we can get 1, we can get 2, and that's all we're going to get. I can tell you that we're not going to be able to get 3 in there. So we're going to do 2 down here. So 2 up top, 2 down here. And now the sides, I'm actually, so these come in a pack of 4. There's 4 right there. 4 stacked together. I hope you can see this. I mean, I can put all 4. I could put all 4 and then some on the insides of these. However, there's a little bit less tolerance on the outside. So I think we should capture that measurement. I'll start off with 2 on the, let's see, 2 on this side, then I'll push it tight. Let's see if I can get 2 on this side. Okay. So if we just did the outsides, it would be 2 on one side and 1 on the other. And that would make it better because it would prevent, even though we've got this gap right here, it would prevent that left and right shimmy. And if I have enough, I'll put them in here. That'll help hold the grease in actually. But I may run out actually. So our priority is to get these outsides. All right, so we're going to start with this top one. We know that we need 2, and what we're going to use is a 12 millimeter. There is a bolt right here. It looks like it's holding this pin in place. So we're going to remove that bolt. The top one's being ornery, so let's see if this one's any easier. 12 millimeter. Oh, that one's way easier. I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this one on before I completely remove that top one. So this kind of has like a sort of a sharp edge, and then there's like a bevel on this side. So I want to put the bevel on the actuator side. That's my goal. All right, so there's one. I'm going to back that off a little bit. Now I need to back that off just a little bit. I think I just bumped the camera. All right. Now we're going to squeeze this one in there. There we go. Shims are on. That's nice. That's better. I like that. All right, so we got the bottom one shimmed now, and I think I can get this out of here. And that is going to drop. Let me put that little piece of wood right there. There we go. It's tight. I'll pump a little grease in both. Now we'll line that really good with that grease. That may help us get it back in there. So I did grease these whenever I first got this machine. But it looks like all the grease didn't get completely in here. So there we go. All right, and I believe we decided that we need two up here. So rounded side toward the actuator. All right. Now, this is where that third hand would come in. I got it against my shim. Okay. Wow. A little 2x4. There we go. So even with the grease, these two holes are not perfectly in line with each other. That's what's happening. So I've got a 2x4. That way I don't ding this up. And then a hammer, and I'm going to tap it in. I need to rotate this over to the right, actually. All right. One more little tap. Do a test. Look at that, folks. We're in. And like I said, I'm going to grease all these after I get through. All right, so I'm putting the bolt in, the securing bolts on the bottom. All right, we're good there. That's awesome. So this is perfect right here. All right, now we're going to do these two right here. We're going to do one on each outer side and then 5 in the middle. That's exactly what I have left. All right, now I do have 2 blocks underneath this plate, and it is going to drop just a little. Look at that. That came out smooth, guys. That came out smooth. Sorry. Keep bumping the camera. All right. So here's 5 for this, and then 1, which is going to go right here. All right. There's our 1. Let's see if we can get that in there pinned. Okay. There we go. All right, so that 1 is in. Here's our stack of 5. And hopefully I don't lose these. It's another one of those you need 3 hands. Got it. Got it. Just like that. All right. I'm not going to tighten that down yet. I want to make sure that the other side fits, so let's move over there. All right, bolts undone. Working the pin out. Perfect. Now this is our 1 for the outside. Let's see if we can get that in there without it dropping. All right, I felt that one engage. Now we're going to pick up and in. Beautiful. All right, and here's our stack of 5. Let's confirm that it fits, and it does. All right, and we're going to wiggle that pin. There it is. All shimmed, and now all we need to do, I'm going to put these bolts on both sides. I'm actually ran out of shims, but this is great. All right, so we've got all the associated joints of concern shim now. And we ended up using 16 shims. At least the source that I got them from, Tractor Supply. They come in a 4-pack, so we used 4 packs. And let's see what kind of difference it made. So this bottom plate down here, if you remember at the beginning of the video, it was actually moving left and right anywhere from 3/8 to 1/2 inch, believe it or not. So I'm going to grab this bottom plate. And so I am getting it to move. And I'm getting it to move somewhere in the neighborhood of a 1/16 to a 1/4. So we could probably use 1 more. I actually see a gap where that 1 more could go. We could probably use 1 more down here, but that's way better than it was before. Now on this actuator, we use 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So we can hear it, but we can't physically fit another shim in there. That's good. This one up here, we can hear it a little bit more, and if I remember correctly, this is the one that we might be able to squeeze 1 more shim in there. But this is way better than it was before. I may end up getting 1 more pack of shims, 1 up here, 1 down there. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grease all these fittings and call it good. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. But that's it for this one. Till next time.